Hello.
Hey man,
Hey,
what's
not
up?
much. How about you?
Nothing, just doing some practice.
Awesome. In the fire sea. Cool.
Yeah.
Good times.
How's it going?
Not bad. Just gosh, what am I doing? Oh, just reading up on Dark Cloud 2 where I left off, trying to
Jumping back in the game?
jumping back in, trying to figure out what to do. I know where I left off. I just need I have to do a lot of grinding, so yeah.
Oh, fun.
I know. I guess I'm gonna try to keep the story going a little bit. I think I have to grind in chapter 3, and I'm in chapter 2. It's gotta figure it out. Just, I feel like I just need to get to a threshold where I'm like, okay, now I'm like strong and can do better stuff because I'm getting my ass handed to me a bit still in this game. So
I
yeah,
see.
it was the first one was a challenge in that regard until I got like very OP. So gotta pick it back up.
But hey, you picked it back up.
Yeah, but I did get I'll watch your stream, so I'll
Oh yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it. I am just practicing at the
yeah,
moment.
no, I'd rather watch that than other chores to do. I was super busy at work today, but
Yeah, today was a strangely busy day. I don't know why.
probably just people returning from break.
Right. Everyone's back in office today.
Yeah. Um, I have a lot on the agenda, but I'm kind of approaching it with like a fresh mindset. Like, okay, let's get it done. So rather than like kind of dragging my feet, which sometimes I'll do if I don't want to do something.
Right.
That's my typical MO. Oh, Sega Genesis. Oh yeah, what you and Alan were talking about. Well, maybe we should wait. He might join about the
Yeah.
Mega Man collection.
Yeah, though after years have passed, I've read about the anniversary collection efforts, both the classic and X collection. Really disappointing to hear all that stuff about the
Very.
music, especially how like the remix tracks from Complete Works like didn't make it in, or if they did, they were like
Loop.
paltry compared. Yeah, they're like missing so much from the Complete Works.
Yeah.
Even though that's the port that they're basing it all off of, so I don't know why all this content was like missing.
Keep.
Also, really disappointing to hear Atomic Planet, or whatever that company is, fail to like emulate Mega Man 7
Yeah,
properly.
that's
There's like a cutscene missing
the
from the
end.
game near the
Yeah,
ending.
the music is out of sync in the beginning. That's typical. Specifically, what jumped out to me, Mode 7 emulation is always very difficult because it's custom. Like, it's
Right.
custom to the chipset, like augmented by the cartridge, not natively to the SNES. So I know that
Yeah.
when the Wii Virtual Console first came out, Mode 7 games were notoriously delayed from coming out because they took
Yeah, they needed extra work.
for the Mode 7. So I can't even think of where in that game Mode 7 is used even, but
Probably sparingly.
I know it's used in Mega Man X in the very maybe it's an X where you fight the wireframe Sigma with the rising lava. That might be X2.
Yeah, that's X2
Yeah.
for sure.
I know that's Mode 7.
There's like a weird 3D effect that they try and
I
accomplish.
think in a Magna Centipede also there's a lot of Mode 7 stuff going on, and in Morph Moth stage there's Mode 7 things. So yeah. Anyway, each of those games also have. Oh, hold on 1 second. My brother's calling me.
Yeah.
Just gotta go on mute.
Damn it. Alright, I think I'll just start running out of time.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle. I have baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
I'm back.
Cool. Kind of running out of time. I was gonna do one run and then go right to bed. I'm so tired
Yeah,
today.
I took a little nap after work, so I feel a little refreshed.
Oh, those are nice. I was planning to do the same, but then I just couldn't get the nap going.
Yeah, I hate that.
Then I was like, fuck it, I might as well just stay up.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank God the temperature cooled down.
Oh, I know. When I was resting inside,
Big relief.
Yeah, it was it got so hot in here, and I was like, oh my God. But fortunately, when I woke up from the nap, I opened the windows and I felt cold air, and so now I have the fans like cycling out all the warm air. moving it out. So nice and cool now.
Good. Yeah, what you were saying about like official ports or
Mhm.
collections not meeting
Yes.
expectations ever. There's always
Yes.
something
Yep.
wrong. It's such a crazy phenomenon. Every time companies like go back, look at an older product and they try and like
Yeah.
re-release it, there's always something. It can never be a perfect port. Like there's just something about it that just like they could have just taken one easy extra step and made it way better and they just chose not to.
Yeah.
It's so
I think the
bizarre.
thing that, certainly some people think or don't think that the first step for companies is it profitable and how can we make it the most profitable? So that oftentimes means like, okay, there's an interest in it. Like if we look at like the Thousand Year Door, like it's a remake, so rather than like a collection. So maybe that's not a good example, but like maybe
Yeah,
the
sure.
is it profitable in the sense that like are people going to buy it because there's enough interest in like wanting to play it? The maybe a much better recent example is excuse me, the Mega Man Battle Network series. I noticed looking at prices for all the Battle Network, they've gone down like significantly, like the Game Boy Advance cartridges. Where a couple of years ago they were
Uh-huh.
like, $90 for Mega Man Battle Network, like one and two. Um, that means that like, okay, there's an interest in it. People are willing to pay $90 for just the first game in the collection. Uh, and enough people that evidently with like market research, whatever, Capcom was like, okay, we should release a Battle Network collection on Switch, which is the most popular console right now, and just cash in on what already is there, whatever, and we'll throw in. They probably don't develop it internally. They may use a subcontractor or whatever. Who's going to get it done on the cheap? It's Game Boy Advance, so like the emulation is relatively like understood by this point. Um, how can they make it
Yeah.
profitable? And like what extras and stuff are, kind of going to satisfy people enough to, buy it. Um, all those things go into the finances of it, and then you know, they release it. I think, you know, as far as I know with those collections, like I just right away know. I haven't. I'm not super well read on them, but I can guess when it comes to Game Boy Advance emulation, the first thing you're dealing with is very small aspect ratio to begin with. Um,
Weird aspect
weird
ratio.
aspect ratio. So, what can you do to make it more palatable to modern, console and television, whatever? So, like, what are your graphical display things? And what were the major gripes of those games that people had, that modern gaming has changed? I know I think they tweaked enemy encounter rates. Oh, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Again, Alan would know these things, but there's like some issues with maybe like there's way too many random encounters in all those games, especially the early ones. You take like two steps and you get another battle. um,
Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
awful.
so they may have tweaked it, maybe not. I think they did, but anyway, there are quality of life things like that. So like I don't know, I guess display output is one consideration, quality of life improvements, and then what are like the extra features and things. So I don't know if you don't have kind of those things worked out, you're looking at just like a shitty port. And honestly, too, with the Mega Man Legacy Collection and X Collection, like, the NES games were only ever meant to be played with the D-pad, and I find playing with anything else like pretty not fun. But I, grew up playing it.
It there are controller problems, control scheme problems, aspect ratio
Yeah.
problems. I get it, it's not that simple. For the crowd that likes emulation, you can stick to your
Yeah.
stick to your
Yeah.
PCs. It's not gonna. The official releases are never gonna do anything that the emulation scene can't
Right.
handle.
Right.
You know, they're not exactly reinventing the
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, anything fans come up with is leaps and bounds more creative and executed
Oh,
better
yeah.
than these game
It's
companies.
crowdsourced. You know, you have the
And-
collective power of many, many people who can spend endless hobby hours perfecting what they're working on. Whereas, you know, otherwise you're
Exactly.
paying people on the clock to do it. It's not financially viable. But yeah, it's just
Yeah,
that way.
it is that way. Yeah.
I'm thinking of like, you know, you can't turn off like the borders of certain games. I don't know if it's in the Mega Man collection, like
Definitely Legacy
yeah,
Collection, stuff
yeah.
like that.
Instead of just having black borders,
Yeah, things are just
it's
like baked
yeah,
in with no option to
yeah.
remove it. At least in the Anniversary Collection and stuff, like when they added things like Navi mode, that was in Complete Works as
Yeah.
well. But Navi mode was something you can turn on and
Right.
off. I remember when we got the game, we tried it out.
What is it exactly?
But it was just, it updates like Mega Man's health and weapon ammo to make it look more modern. Maybe a little bit more visible than those like tiny
Right.
pellets. And there's like a hint system, and the game like it's basically like baby mode. If you like don't know what to do, the game gives you hints, and I think it even makes certain areas easier. They like add platforms
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, like as soon as like Sal and I saw what it was, we're like, oh, that's neat. But like we just turned it off
Yeah.
forever, never looked back.
Yeah. Totally.
Not sure how many gamers will make use of that. Then again, I've been wrong.
Well, yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, how other people play these games. Like, yeah.
I've been wrong before. You know, some people are
Bad.
children.
Yeah.
Bad at
Yeah, yeah,
games. Oh, like Mega Man 9 and 10, like remember the easy mode like
my
added removed all like the pits and
Right.
spikes. They just put platforms
Right.
there. That's so ugh.
Yeah. It's lame.
I'd rather be frustrated by a game than come on, get in there. I'd rather be frustrated by a game than play it on baby
I
mode.
agree. I agree. It's like get good.
At least you feel some accomplishment
Yeah.
when you finish
Yeah.
it.
It does feel good to get good and beat something as intended. Yeah. I'm trying to think too. Legacy collection stuff. Yeah, it's just there's really no substitute for playing the games as they originally existed, as they were
Yeah.
originally intended, jank and all. Like, you can't really go wrong
Yeah.
with NES. I will say what I think is actually, I mean, I hate to give it credit, but like Limited Run Games is a publisher, but I guess they have, I don't know if they have developers too, whatever. There are some collections. One of the coolest things I thought was like I'm not insane about the Ninja Turtles, whatever, those games, but they have, for some of those harder like brawlers, they have like a jump in mode. And it's purely a result of, I think, this guy from the Video Game History Foundation like coming up with the concept somehow.
Oh my god, I cannot believe that happened.
No,
I'm
I'll go.
sorry to interrupt. Holy fuck. Oh my god. I don't even know how I bonked like that.
Weird.
Did you see
I
that?
just saw it. It looked like
I was supposed to go through him.
slid.
Instead of like, I like bounced and then hit the wall. I was supposed to like go right through the
Yeah.
piranha.
That's really weird.
Oh my god, dude.
I think your angle
Holy
was
shit.
weird. You slid through, but you bonked on the corner of the wall there and slid back on your butt.
I hit
Yes.
the wall? Like under him?
You slid
Oh my
into
God.
the little slice of wall there through him.
God, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that was a good
That
pace
was like,
otherwise. It was good movement.
yeah, I know I've been getting the half cycle and two times in a row, and both times, I follow it up with some kind of
Uh,
blunder. So I'm hoping I can get 3 for 3
yeah.
now. I don't want to leave Womps like
Yeah.
that. Holy crap.
Hey.
Anyways,
No, no, I'm
sorry.
good. What am I talking about? I don't even remember what I was talking about. It'll come back. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, we're t just
I
talking about
know.
like making
Yeah,
edits.
yeah. So this guy came up with the concept of like a jump-in mode. So you have like a speedrunner playing through the game, like playing expertly through like Turtles in Time, and at any point you can jump in. Like so you can watch if the game gets too hard, you can like have it autoplay, and basically like you have like an expert assist who's killing everything and all that.
Oh,
I think
whoa.
that's so cool. And also Nintendo, at least at the very least, they implemented the rewind feature for Switch Online, and
For Switch
that's
Online, yeah.
so helpful.
Without, they would not have even released these games
Yeah,
without it. It's such a, it's
it's essential.
essential. I mean, especially for modern gamers and iPad
Yeah,
kids, the only way they can possibly enjoy the game with the input
yes,
lag is if they get like infinite chances to get it
exactly.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, can you imagine playing with like 400 frames of input
Uh,
lag and there's no retry
right.
button, so you just die?
That would not be fun.
No, it would not.
The that would not be fun at all.
I was watching this video, kind of clickbait title, but it actually turned out to be a very good video, so I
Mm.
didn't mind. It was called "Can the Lord of the Rings Ever Be Remastered?"
Oh.
And the video is going over all of the home releases of the Lord of the Rings so far, including the latest 4K remaster, Ultimate Edition that they released, I think, the last holiday
Mm.
season. And it goes over all the mistakes that have been made in like every release, usually all relating to color grading.
Oh yeah, of course.
There was a Blu-ray release of the extended editions. So the extended cut came out first on
Mm.
DVD. So it's just like DVD quality, nothing special, it's from the early
Yep.
2000s. So the first time they were like remastered to HD, meaning 1080p, was on the Blu-rays. I think it came out like 2011 or
Mm.
something. Oh my god, I messed up the slide, dude.
Butter.
Um, the Blu-rays have like this horrendous green tint
Really
on the entire movie.
weird.
So all like white objects and surfaces appear like light green. And the actual greens, like in the Shire, like the grass and the trees, are oppressively saturated that it looks toxic. It looks like an insanely saturated green that it just stops even looking like
Why?
real
How did that
grass.
happen?
There are theories. People have wrote in the comments. There are theories that they did like some kind of digital transfer. Like they got
Mm-hmm.
lazy, and when you change like color spaces, going from like a limited color space to a more enhanced color
Mm.
space, it has that effect of like ruining like the coloring,
Yeah,
and it can make it like too much
because
green or something.
that makes
But
sense.
even if you try and like balance it out, like add more like white back into the
Yeah.
mix, doesn't fix it, but it can make it a whole
So
lot better. But like they didn't even try
is
to
that
fix
the
it.
only medium where an extended cut exists?
Pretty much.
Wow.
So since well, until the
Oh.
4K release that just came out. Just like a lot of, he went over so many like bizarre changes and edits, and my fears are starting to become more realized that Peter Jackson is really beginning his journey to
George
becoming
Lucas.
like another
No.
George Lucas type person,
No.
because every time he revisits these works, like
They get more
he's kind
distorted.
of making changes based on like new sensibilities, and the fans like me, all we want is just to watch these movies the way that they looked in the theater when we first saw
Totally.
it. You know, the memory that we have in our heads. Like, imagine these poor people who went to see the original Star Wars movies. These people have never been able to see Star Wars the same way they
I know.
used to ever again, because Lucas made it impossible.
Yep.
That kind of insanity is, I don't understand it. But anyways, like Peter Jackson, he apparently was like on top of like the 4K remaster re-release, and there were rumors that like they rescanned the 4K, they rescanned the original 35mm film, and they did all this like work to make it like perfect and as accurate as possible to the film. But unfortunately, you know, it just wasn't the case. It's an insane amount of DNR, so like digital noise reduction. So all the film grain, all like the little imperfections were just scrubbed away, so it looks cleaner. But now like everybody looks really waxy and pale. You don't see the actors like pimples anymore.
Which is supposed to. That's like the beauty of film, is capturing all of this.
All the little details. Like, yeah, it's in 4K, but like the DNR was like cranked up to fucking 11. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, that's not good either.
And it really ruins it, in my opinion. Hold on, let me finish the Star in Peace.
Good movement so far.
Yeah, not fucking it up yet. Alright, I think we're okay. Yeah, it was just so disappointing. It's like, okay, these early releases have like terrible color, like they completely fucked up the color. And then the 4K is like, the colors are back to a more sensible level, but there's like other weird changes. Like there's like a shot where Aragorn is leading the hobbits into the wilderness after he rescues them at Bree, and he's going to take them to Rivendell, to the elves. This isn't Fellowship of the Ring, by the way. Most of what I'm talking about deals with Fellowship. That's the movie that seems to be affected the most. There's a shot where he walks past the camera. He's like walking uphill, up this like little like rocky hill. The top of his arrow quiver, I think, hits part of the camera. And for the briefest moment, you can see like the camera kind of move, but like barely. You really have to be looking to notice it, but he kind of walks into the camera a little bit. They fixed it. They took out the camera shake. And somebody in the comments was like, you know, that's like a detail like I always look for, and it always like makes me like feel good, like seeing that happen. It's like a special moment. And they like take it out. They're thinking that they're like fixing a problem, but it really didn't ever need to be fixed. There's a fine line between like it's art and, you know, you can't change a part of art or else it'll become something different.
Well, dare we say art is enjoying its imperfections. It adds to the character of the piece, you know, like how many times can you polish something over and over again until you start to wear it away, to use that kind of metaphor. But
yeah, it's like Lucas, you know, he sees them as like, not as like historical pieces of art, but like as this continuous product, you know, like a computer that every year, you know, could just use some modern updates, some modern sensibilities. That is just such a sad way to view filmmaking or art in general.
Yep.
Oh my god, please.
Yep, I know. I just really disagree with that. I think in the case of Star Wars, what's so weird to me is like George Lucas doesn't have the perspective. I don't know why, that like the movies are, you know, perfect
the way they are. Like,
it should be
errors and all. Like there's bloopers and there's like, you know, little mistakes and goofs in there, but like they're not to be removed later and then act like they never happened.
I think it preserves his legacy as a filmmaker and director even more to allow the fans to appreciate the movies as they originally existed, and then give people
Yeah.
the option to see, like, this is what George Lucas's vision for, like, updates to it to bring more continuity and all those other things to it. Show what it was, show what was originally there, show what was taken out and reasons why. Like, I think that that's what would do those movies like the most justice. But
I agree. I agree.
yeah, it's artists unfortunately oftentimes lose perspective. I think, it's the same with composers, classical music composers. They just, they revisit works and they're never satisfied, and they, especially if,
Yeah, they just keep making these edits, keep making these
yeah,
changes. They don't realize that the fans are really, really attached to this stuff.
right,
And it takes on a life of its own outside the
yes,
creator.
totally.
The creator's job is done, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Once they release it, it's out in the wild, and it belongs to the fans.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like like music, art, film, whatever. Like, you cannot keep changing this shit.
Right.
It's all like with the best intentions, right? Oh, like we just gotta fix this one mistake here.
Yeah.
I don't believe
I don't
in that.
either. When it comes, when it comes to something like that, I think it just needs to be preserved in a time capsule.
Agree.
If it didn't have such a fandom around it, if it really is just all about, like, if it's, but then again, then there wouldn't be such, like, dissection of it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer is, but
Music is like that too. I mean, there's some
yes,
historically important rock and roll
Oh,
records that have come out in the 60s and 70s, and a lot of time has passed. These artists who are old now, they get this idea, it's for the anniversary, let's remaster this work that we did. And they just start changing the way it sounds, and then in people's memory, it just doesn't sound like that. So you're really just fucking it all up.
Right.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
I'm resetting because that was terrible. One thing I could think of is the Stooges debut album. It is very, very poorly recorded. It was so jank. It was so long ago, and with very little. They were obviously not experienced back then. They didn't have a lot of money. It is like the genesis of punk, like garage rock music. It sounds so distorted. It literally sounds like they're playing in your house, like in some other room.
Yeah.
Everything is blown out. Like the vocals are blown out. The guitar is just almost, you can barely even understand what notes he's playing. Sometimes it's just so distorted. It's iconic the way it is. That's how people remember the record. That's the way they see it in their heads. They hear it. Then they remaster it, and it's maybe everything's cleaner, or the instruments are better separated from each other, but it also just sounds shittier. Not in a good way either.
Right.
Sometimes it sounds shitty in a good way, but not when they start messing with it. Led Zeppelin too. They're so famous for constantly remastering music, and it's just doesn't need to be done.
Or the Beatles. I mean, there's just so many examples of audio engineering gone wrong and trying to make right.
Yeah. All they have to do is just pan one instrument differently, and everyone will hate it. Everyone will be like, what the fuck did you do?
Right.
Why did you change the way the snare sounds?
Yeah.
It was fine. You don't need to go back and edit this stuff.
Right, totally.
So, I mean, it's kind of circles back to what we're talking about video games. I mean, you program and release a game in 1987. 30 years goes by and it's time to like release the game again for a new generation, like do you release it as is or do you go back and think, okay, well this needs to be fixed. Oh, this section is too hard. Let's make this easier. Oh, let's change the music here. Like just
Yeah.
where's the line
Right.
here?
Right. Exactly. Just yeah.
Look at Mario 64. Shortly after release, Japan got the Shindo
Yeah. Yeah.
edition, and then like they had these like weird sound effects
Right.
replaced,
Glitches patched.
different voice
Yep.
lines. Yeah, and then it turns out it's not the definitive version
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
and nobody plays it or
Right.
cares for it.
Right.
Imagine that Nintendo was like, no, the Shindu edition is the only one that exists. So Switch Online and everything is just using that one
Mm-hmm.
version. And they never released the original again. Can you
I
imagine
can.
the
I can.
uproar? Whole removing BLJs
Yes.
from all versions of Mario 64 that you can legally obtain.
I can believe it. I can indeed believe it.
Yeah. Hold on to your cartridges.
Hold on to your butt.
That's all I can say. That future may not be far away.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's the only, as I've said, in the chat, like that's the only way to ensure that you are, going to be satisfied forever with what you have is just to own the original. I mean, it's unfortunately very cost prohibitive now. Like, it's like, oh, I want to play Mega Man 5. Okay, you need, a $150 cartridge, you need a CRT, you need an NES, you need the controller, the AC adapter, you need the AV cable.
Yeah. And if you even try and like skimp out,
Right.
right? Let's say you buy like an HD converter for your composite
Right,
cables.
right.
You're gonna
Yeah.
regret it.
It's
Big
gonna
time.
it's gonna be
Are you
I'm
okay?
excited.
Oh my god.
It's
Don't you?
not going to be how you remember.
Hello? Hello? Thanks, guy. Don't know.
What happened?
Alan is
Oh,
in the
yeah.
chat.
Yeah, it's not going to be how you remember it, and that's the problem when people are like,
That's the worst
when
part.
people are like, oh, I don't remember this game being so sluggy, or I don't remember it looking so bad.
Yeah.
Like literally, I remember I sold that PlayStation 2 to that person in Astoria, and they were like,
They were
yeah,
so
they were like, it
confused.
looks so blurry, dude. It looks so bad. I'm like, it's because you are using composite, and like trying to explain this to somebody. I was like, you're using just the regular output. Like on your flat screen, it's probably stretched. It's probably whatever. And they're like, it's not how I remember it looking. And I'm like, okay, just.
What do you think? It's the PS2's fault? Like that particular one just has bad
was like-
video output? Doesn't mean
I
it
know.
makes
I was
sense.
like, okay, just give it back.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I had some pasta. There's some left in the fridge. No, it's for
Pasta.
me. Yes, there's potatoes left too. Yeah, I made some pesto.
Love pesto. I'm making
It was from a can. I did not create the
Uh,
pesto.
homemade pesto. It's good. It's not hard, but it's easier if you have like a little blendery thing to just do it quickly.
Yeah, like a food
Yeah.
processor, blender.
Yeah.
I gotta start learning how to use that
Pesto
more.
goes bad so quickly, like because it's fresh.
Oh
but
yeah.
even if you have one of those like magic bullet things, you can just get it, and because it's what, basil and garlic, right?
Basil, garlic, parmesan, and
Yeah.
olive oil,
Yeah.
pretty much.
You just like blend that in a second, and then it starts really good. I'm going to make probably tomorrow buffalo wings in my air fryer. So it'll be like just drumsticks, wings in a dry rub, like I think flour and cayenne pepper and like garlic powder. Just like a very simple little like coating,
Cool.
air fried, and then you add the buffalo sauce. It should be really good. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm excited.
Gotta go back to H Mart. I'm missing a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Need more bags of frozen
Oh, yeah.
dumplings. Those are so clutch when I come home from work and I just want to eat something
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, definitely. Eating healthy for like a few days makes me feel so much better. I'm already feeling better, and I'm
Yep.
sure the weight is starting to fly off too. Like, it's just so crazy.
Yeah, it makes a big
Yeah,
difference.
I had been sliding back for a really long time, but now I'm like, it's always hard for like a couple of days. Like, I'm really craving to eat more, like eat at night, and I just hold off, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
That-
Eating at night just prevents you from like getting to
Yeah.
sleep.
It's just that willpower to get you over the hump, and then it's good. All right, where the hell is my Genesis? Who even knows? Genesis. Tomb Raider gem.
Alan, you still working? Where are you?
That's what I figured he's probably working. You better work, as we call it.
Work, 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 work.
Work it, girl. Do your thing, making love to the camera.
Making love to the camera. Hmm.
You say.
No cap, more like no wing cap. Because I don't have it. Because I haven't unlocked it yet.
Ugh. I hate that.
If only there were more wing cap levels.
Yeah, that would have been really great.
Like more cloud levels, more wing cap. I think it would have been super fun.
Yeah. So many
Yeah.
people would have really enjoyed that and benefited from it, in fact.
I agree.
Let's somehow make that happen. ROM hack. Fucking ROM hack. Oh my god, I was thinking about you as I was, I think I was on the train or something. I was thinking we need to have a watch party for the Ludwig event.
Oh yeah.
Something.
It's a 3-day event, so
Oh,
we'll see.
God. Yeah, the kickoff. We at least have to see that. I don't know, June, whatever day that is.
Well, we don't even know what kind of content is gonna be there, so yeah, we'll have to just play it
I
by ear.
very strongly suspect they're also concealing that to as not draw criticism from it, to try to make it seem legit. Like,
Oh yeah.
as soon as they release, if they ever release, what is actually going to be shown there, I have a feeling everyone's going to be like, "This is all what all the hype was about," and I can't wait.
I just don't know. I don't know what the plan
Yeah.
is. Just a bunch of speedrun creators whose main skill set is talking about other people's speedruns
And being
or talking about speedrun news and relaying it to an audience that knows nothing about it
mediocre.
and just having a very mediocre existence. But other than that, I don't know what they bring to the table.
That article that just said,
Oh, that article that said that what we can
Only-
expect
yes,
Fall
only
Guys,
up.
Mario 64,
I knew it. I was like,
only up.
mean fucking rage bait games, fucking like non-viable categories, like for like custom levels.
I hope, bro. I hope they play only up and they like fail at the very end or something and they fall all the way back
Yeah.
down. It would be perfect.
Literally anything to make that shit a disaster, I would just love to see. So, TBD, I guess, on that.
So bad.
I have a.
Yeah, because I love speedrunning so much, I gathered all of these people to do speedruns. Literally no one there runs any
Right.
game.
Yeah. In 3 days, that's a lot of programming, actually, too.
50 hours. It's a fast 50. That's what he's
And
calling
it's in
it.
person, so that's a lot.
A lot of overhead for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure his company can handle it.
I just hate all that. I really do. I just think the culture of like esports leagues. Like, look, I get esports. That's kind of different, but this is just like representing influencers, and it's like this.
Yeah, esports cannot be counted in the same
No,
category at
no,
all.
no.
These are influencers. Through and through.
Whose only skill, if you can call it that, is just drawing attention to themselves.
Being a cartoon.
Yeah.
Being a cartoon character for their like 10-year-old audience.
Yeah.
Their audience of children. Come on, bitch.
Fuck. Ah, there. I have Pyrex dishes, and they have like kind of a silicone rubber pop thing, and sometimes they get weird shapes when I microwave them. So now I just have one in there microwaving back to shape. Makes them like malleable.
Alright, I think that's my first WOMPS 100 that pretty much
Nice.
good.
All right. Let's see that.
Well, this looks fun. Oh, it is.
Oh, it is. Aquana. Dr. Chibi Aquana. And we have Dr. Chibi.
Why are you cringe?
Who say I'm cringe?
You are cringe.
I can't wait for when that comes up on our cringe.
Can we invite Aquana to our cringe
Absolutely.
marathon?
Absolutely.
I have so many more questions
Guest
for
of
him.
honor.
We're not done talking about Tomba 2.
I don't think we'll ever be done talking about it. In fact.
You know what's even crazier is that he's also somewhat tangentially tied to the Sam and Toki incident.
Yeah, I know he was around in that time.
That was the same GDQ where that
Yeah.
happened.
Hashtag never forget.
There's a photo of like Stiv,
Oh,
that guy's the Toki, and Chibi in the same photo, like at the event. Apparently, he was like, "Oh my god, imagine she like did stuff with him,
no.
bro.
I've seen that
Please."
photo.
I couldn't handle the humiliation knowing your wife was with somebody like that. Let alone 20 to 30 other, horny teenagers, but him,
I know.
no, there ain't no way. There can't
Yeah,
be.
I know.
That's impossible.
Search your feelings.
But I'm searching my feelings and I know it to be true.
Oh God, Sam and Tolkien is one of the greatest like lore, the lore
It's one of the greatest love stories of all time.
star-crossed lovers, star-crossed lovers. Yeah, it's just so funny. It's like teenager drama, but like for the
It's high
high
drama.
high teenager drama that for the world to see for some reason. Yeah, it's just great.
Oh my god. I can't get Elgato to... There we go.
You say it.
You are cringe.
I love saying you are cringe in that way.
You are
cringe.
cringe. I want some African politician just to call Chibi cringe.
I
You are
am here
cringe.
with Dr. Chibi Aquana. Dr. Aquana,
Welcome.
why are you?
Thank you.
Why
Why are you cringe?
Who say I'm cringe?
Who say I'm...
You are cringe.
He says it with such confidence, he's like,
It's
you are
so
cringe.
deadpan. Oh,
With such conviction.
yeah.
He's like, I'm not a fool. I know what you are.
Right. You are cringe.
I just call it like I
Yeah.
see it.
Man. God.
Oh, no cap.
Riz.
Riz. That Chibi guy, though, what a glutton for punishment.
Oh God, completely unaware.
A lesser man would have just
Logged off.
slunked away, and just never shown his
I
face
would
again.
argue that a
Slur-
more well-balanced, healthy person would have receded away.
I'm speaking purely in pain management or pain tolerance.
Yeah, that's fair.
It seems like he does have a higher threshold than one would
well,
imagine.
I think it's honestly.
Even after disaster after disaster, it just does not seem to faze him. He just keeps logging in every day and facing his attackers.
Well, I think that's.
I don't know. There's
something perhaps with.
There's something in there.
Something perhaps starting with an A that contributes to that fact, and it's not awareness.
It's not bravery.
I do think it is an autistic trait to not realize what I think he's just so disconnected from how people perceive him and how to handle it, any social norm.
He just doesn't even
No.
know. He really doesn't even know what is
You are
happening.
cringe. He is cringe.
You are cringe.
Yeah. Chibi is cringe. Dr. Chibi. I love that so much. Oh my god. Why is it so good? Why? Oh my god. Why?
I can't believe it, bro. Oh my god, I can't get out of Womps. It's not my day.
Whoa, you
Oh,
flipped
boy.
to the geometry. What the?
Yeah. That only happens when you just have a bad angle and you're not going toward the the platform enough. It's a pretty small gap where you can clip all the way through.
That is cringe.
But I found it.
Indeed.
So sad. If I don't get it going in the next 10-15 minutes, I'm just gonna call it a day.
Yeah.
Bum, ba-da-bum, bum. Yeah, so maybe it's not bravery for continuing to have an online presence. It's just pure ignorance. He just doesn't know that he can just log out
Right.
and have a happier life.
Yes. Yes. I think it's also the fact that like he has no marketable skill set. Does he get donations?
Well, no, he's in Japan. He's gonna be an English teacher. Did you not hear?
Oh, I was too distracted by the fly being open.
Ah, yes. Well, also his ass crack, but
Oh
let's
my
not dwell on that.
God.
We just have the entire nation of Japan laughing at him. This is how Japanese people see us, man. Putting Americans, giving Americans a bad rap.
It's wild. Wild and crazy.
They just talk about us like, oh my god, those Americans are so unkempt, so gross looking, so perverted.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not perverted. I think they have us beat there. But just genuinely very ugly and ill-dressed.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Walking around with their flies open
Yeah.
at an airport, wherever the fuck it was.
Looks like just arrived.
I hope his trip went well. I hope he didn't bring condoms though.
No.
Because he did do that at a certain other event.
No.
And I wish he didn't. What do you think he used it on? Toki.
Oh my God. Isn't that what someone...
Has there ever been a woman more ran through than her?
Isn't that what he admitted to, that he brought condoms with him to GDQ?
Yeah, he did admit this. Something that I would take to my grave,
God,
to be honest.
Same.
Even if I did that, if I was in a dark period of my life, and I was like forced to admit that, I'd probably just like take the bullet.
It's just so...
Just keeps getting
bad.
worse, man.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying these like archived clips from his YouTube. We're talking like from 2009, 2010. Yeah. Got a young chibi, full of life still.
Oh my God.
Still coming to terms with his disabilities.
Oh my God. I can't believe people are just so crazy what they get. That just shows he's an unhealthy person who shouldn't be online. He admits to people that. Like, that's so embarrassing. Or maybe it's responsible, but perhaps a bit, I don't know. He's being responsible, but yet perhaps a bit irrational. Let's go Hundo Coin. I like the bouncing off of the piranha plant.
Yep. It's fun. You get a big jump off that one.
That was a good Hundo Coin.
Yep. A little late on the cycle, which is why it took extra time on the thwomp.
Yeah.
Because he lowered right when I was about to grab the coin. He just went back down. You have to wait for him to climb back up. There's just no way you can reach it. So, a little unfortunate, but I got through it. The goal right now is to just get past Dark World, which is where which is the furthest I got today. That is the plan. Oh my god. Alright. Okay. I was watching a lot of Furiosa reviews today.
Oh yeah, what did they say?
Mainly the same stuff that we talked about, like CGI effects a little lacking at times. Not really lacking. I would say just over reliance on CGI. I wouldn't say they were bad effects at
Right.
all. Imagine it's just harder to shoot, and I think that it was such trouble to do the practical effects on Fury Road.
Yeah.
And he knew it was like very hard on the crew and caused a lot of problems. So I'm guessing George Miller probably just didn't want to put everyone through that again.
Right, yeah.
It's not injure any stunt people.
Yeah.
Just to like satisfy egos.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone seemed to enjoy Anya. Everyone thought Chris Hemsworth like stole the show and was like the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was very, very interesting villain. On Red Letter Media, they were saying that they liked the fact that he was like bad at being a villain. Like he was bad at what he was trying to do. Like when he took over Gastown, it was just like in shambles.
Yeah.
Like he didn't know how to run it.
Yeah.
His own people were like rebelling against him.
Yep. Yeah, it was.
There was a post-credit scene.
I
man.
wondered.
Ugh.
What was it of?
Annoying.
Yeah. What was it of?
Hold on. Apparently, it was just like some nameless driver you can't see, and on the dashboard of them driving through the desert is this like thing that Nux had from Fury Road.
Who was Nux?
Nux was the war boy who died.
Okay, so
the war boy that like follows them on their
Okay,
journey.
Yep.
I'll look it up right now. See what I'm talking about.
That's so annoying how they do that. You know, movies need to stop doing fucking post-credit scenes. Come on now.
For real.
Fucking annoying. I can't get a video of it. It's all clickbait.
Hello, everyone. The new
Hello, AI voice. Fuck this.
Scott
AI
Knox, one of
voice.
Immortan Joe's war.
It's not actually showing the scene.
Maybe like an image. There's like something that Nux had on his dash, or kept as like a memento or like a good luck charm. So it's like implying that maybe he's still alive, or maybe Max took it.
Yeah. Let's see here.
It's a whole lot of nothing, to be honest.
I can't find a single video of it. That's okay. Yeah, that little like head or
Not yet.
whatever. Yeah, I mean there was like the Mad Max cameo thing too, obviously. Yeah. You know, when they were showing in the end credits the clips from Fury Road, it really looked so different. Like the film quality, it almost
Visually, it looked different.
it was like you saw more fine details in the characters. No, Dark World, no.
I do it to myself, man.
So good.
Do it to myself.
But yeah, and even in the practical special effects versus the CGI, I was like, oh my god, that movie is just so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very, very hard to compare the two.
Friends were asking, or like people at work, friends were asking how it was, and I said it was fine. Like, you know, just that it was. I guess now that it's settled.
Not sure if it was needed.
Yes, very that, and also like.
Not sure if anyone asked for this
right,
movie.
it didn't really do anything to further kind of what we already thought of those characters. Like, I mean, Furiosa, you already kind of know she's like motivated by something. It's like, do we really need to go into it? And then also, like, the others, we already know they're like grotesque. It doesn't really go into anything that makes them more interesting. Like,
Yeah, I thought they were gonna try and humanize Dementus a
yeah,
little bit. We can surmise that, you know, from what he says, he had a family once
right,
too, perhaps a daughter.
right,
Maybe that's why when he meets Child Furiosa, he makes sure she's kept safe and not like completely violated by all the other brutes
right.
nearby. Like he captures her, yeah, and kills the mom, but he doesn't actually harm
Yeah, it
anything on
doesn't
her.
actually really go into.
And he has a teddy bear.
I, in a way, maybe that I in Beyond Thunderdome, that bear might actually, I'm not sure, be a reference to in Beyond Thunderdome, like Mad Max discovers like this tribe of children, which actually really the movie is criticized very heavily for like annoying children actors. He discovers a civilization of children who are idolizing this. They have this whole like mythos in kind of like a fragmented way of speaking. It's basically a society of children who have grown up. They were survivors of a plane crash, I guess, and they're the pilot. They think he's a pilot because it's basically like all the adults in their civilization died, and they don't really understand that or know how that's possible. And they have this
Mm-hmm.
recordings from the flight crew and stuff. So that's what the movie kind of he ultimately leads to. Um, and it's kind of an interesting concept, but maybe there's some sort of tie-in with that in like the teddy bear, like children's toys, like something like that. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I think he kept that around possibly as like something to remember um
childhood or something.
I guess his family
Yeah,
from.
because
Yeah, 'cause she's like, "Oh, I want my childhood back. Give it back." And he's like, "I know. I want that too. Like
yeah,
I want it back."
yeah,
But you
because the
can't.
universe that uh, George Miller has established is that it's post-apocalyptic, but there are like some small elements of the former world intact. But Fury Road was very different
Yeah.
in that it's like completely like it's less and less of what we
Right.
know in it.
It's really eroded into just pure
Pure
lawlessness
lawlessness,
at
but
that point.
also like pure
Totalitarian
right.
gangs.
But I like that because it's pure, like it's a new world. What I think held the other movies
Yeah.
back is that they always kind of draw upon like, what we already know of civilization and that sort of thing. Like in the end of Beyond Thunderdome, they go to Sydney, which is just like all skyscrapers that are like completely crumbled, and they
Mm-hmm.
like are trying to like rebuild that or something like that. But this is just showing
I
like a
see.
purely lawless world and like the craziness of that world, and I love that.
And there's just desert.
Yeah,
Like there's no buildings left standing. Everything just
right.
completely
Everything
gone.
is new, a hodgepodge, and I love that. That's what has made it great. And also like the action sequences were always what was best in Mad Max. And Beyond Thunderdome, the best sequences are basically prototypes for what Fury Road was. Just these incredible,
I've seen clips
yeah,
of
like
it with a lot of driving in the desert and ramming
yeah,
vehicles
just
together.
awesome
It's very
shit. Yeah,
thrilling.
exactly. There's like a train that they're driving out that's been like heavily modified, and that shit is just awesome. So this is just that high octane. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it really is kind of like, did we need it? I agree with that sentiment. Unfortunately, I wish it did do something